Welcome back to the Posscast
Hello.
podcast. We are here in our dank sewers, here to bring to you Dungeon Dragons story, well, RPG horror stories. But
I mean, let's be honest. Most of the time, it's going to be D&D since that's the most popular one.
That is true. I've got one involving the most popular module for horror stories.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Eberron.
Nope. Curse of Strahd. Well, technically,
of course.
Technically Ravenloft, but
same difference.
Yeah.
I've got one about someone who spends too much time on Reddit and thinks literally any form of LGBTQ representation is too political.
Oh, gross.
That didn't pick up well on the mouth. Uh-oh.
That's fine.
Well. Whatever.
Yeah, I think I might have seen the title of the one that you were.
I mean, yeah, you probably saw it while looking for a story of your own.
Yeah, but I was specifically looking for ones involving Strahd because I don't know if you know this, but I'm playing in a game of Curse of Strahd.
Oh, no shit. Me too.
Oh man, we should swap ideas.
We should play together.
Yeah, on every other Thursday. Here on this channel.
Every other Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time.
5:30 Central Time. It's just people usually don't get here.
Oh no, that's right. My Saturday games are at 6:30.
Yeah, we try to schedule our Thursday games at 5:30, but we usually end
every day at 8 p.m.
Yeah, no, it posts on Tuesdays at noon Central.
Could you imagine daily D&D?
I
would die.
I would die too, unless I was making enough money off of it to. Wait, no, I could not DM that. I would not be the DM.
No,
for that.
You wouldn't be DMing. You wouldn't be DMing all of it. I'm not saying it's all one campaign, but just every day is a game.
If I was making enough money off of it that I didn't have to worry about bills, then yes, I could probably do it. Like, if that was my job, I could probably do it.
Yeah, it's easy for the players. It's the DMs who have it hard. But then again, they're proud. If you have enough players, that's only one DM a week.
Yeah.
That's they're only DMing once a week.
Yeah.
Which is still, still work, but
if it's the same group every single day, then that would still be a lot of work because you would have significantly less time to prepare each week.
True.
Okay, so let's get into these horror stories.
Yeah, we need to find out who's gonna go first. So I suggest that we have a nice, quick, friendly game of 5D chess.
Oh man. We should definitely play that on the channel sometime, but...
We should, at some point.
Yeah, no. You can go first.
Yeah, okay, I'll go first. Mine's labeled extra long, so it should take me about 9 minutes.
Alright.
Because, they labeled it extra long, and it's like, oh, this is... Here's 7 paragraphs, that's extra long.
Mine is listed as long, and I only have to scroll once to get to the bottom.
I hate... What do these people consider... Why is this what people consider... I consider extra long to be like, oh, this is like a whole video.
Yeah, the airship was extra long.
Yeah.
Because that took up 30 minutes to read.
Extra long is like this one green text video I watched a long time ago. I say long time ago. It was pre-pandemic.
You know what my favorite extra long story was?
It was a Shadowrun game, by the way.
Oh, nice. You know what my favorite extra long story was? It was one that ended up being a 2-parter on Crit Crab.
Nice.
Because of how long it was. It was the one about the DM that got mad that the players made choices.
Ah.
Yeah.
I see. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I kind of gave it away at the beginning, but the title of this was posted a couple days ago by user Lily Northcliffe.
Ooh, that's a good name.
Yep, all one word. Capital L in the Lily, capital N in the Northcliffe.
Yeah.
A about 1,700 upvotes.
Nice.
And Reddit Gold.
Nice.
Somebody thought that was good enough for Reddit Gold. Anyway, this story is titled... Am I too loud, by the way?
No,
Am I
you're good. You're good.
All right. This story is titled, Neckbeard thinks bisexual character is, quote, too political. The game, Dragon of Icespire Peak. The cast. DM, the Dungeon Master. Guy with a little bit of experience as a player, but a first-time DM. Struggled at times to keep the plate spinning, but overall did alright for his first time. Ronnie, an elf rogue, and this story's problem player. Alex, a tiefling bard and the main recipient of the player's problems. Joker, funny dude, race and class don't matter. Me, human female sorceress. Right off the bat, before we get into the story, I just want to say...
Are they an edgy rogue?
Of course it's a tiefling bard. Of course it's a tiefling bard.
I mean...
Have you ever seen someone play a straight tiefling bard?
I've seen someone play an asexual tiefling bard.
Not straight, though.
True. But I've never seen someone play a straight character.
Shit, I am completely blanking on the name at the moment. I'm completely blanking on the name at the moment.
Oh, man.
Travis's character.
Which one?
From Balance. Magnus.
Right.
Magnus was straight. He had a wife.
Well, yeah, he could have been bi.
I don't think there was any indication that he was.
Honestly, he strikes me as demi.
Anyway.
Merle is definitely not straight.
Merle fucks plants.
Yeah.
Anyway.
In depth. In very graphic detail.
Much to his children's chagrin. Anyway, on to the story. Our DM sets the stage of our first session by having us go into Falandin's tavern one at a time.
Fandolin?
As a sort of... Fandalin.
Fandolin.
Yeah, Fandolin's tavern, one at a time, as a sort of character introduction scene. Classic way to introduce everyone.
Oh, yeah.
The first person in the tavern is Ronnie, and he proceeds to find a dark corner to quietly observe everyone else from.
Of course he does.
I don't like the... Yeah, of course he does.
The only time I've ever seen that be done well was done for ironic purposes, where half the party were playing edgy characters, and the DM literally said, "There are no more empty corners for you to brood in."
Hold on, I'm applying to something. Okay. I don't like the dark, brooding loner rogue cliche, but at least Ronnie was role-playing it, so I was optimistic. Still better than a flavorless, I fire my bow, bonus action hide approximation of a character. Next, Alex's tiefling bard enters the tavern with a bit of a flourish, sits down at the bar and enters a drink. But before Alex can pay, Ronnie has jumped up from their corner and offers to pay for the pretty lady's drink.
Oh, gross.
Alex hadn't been described as good-looking, mind you. It's a trope for high charisma characters, but good looks and charisma don't have to go in hand. What Alex's player also didn't mention was the character's gender. Alex's player is female, but actually Alex is a guy, she explained. But thanks for the drink, handsome. I've always been partial to the dark, mysterious type. Ronnie's player was mortified at accidentally flirting with another male character and quickly had him slink away into a shadowy corner. When my character, who I described as rather beautiful and elegantly dressed, sat down next to Alice, he gave a similar flirtatious introduction. "Oh wow, look at you. Bards up and down the Sword Coast must sing songs of your beauty." Before I could respond, Ronnie's player had to speak up. Oh wait, no, that wasn't... Shoot. That was Alex not reading it, not Ronnie. I'm sorry, Alex.
Oh, rip.
Before I could respond, Ronnie's player had to speak up. Wait, I thought Alex was gay. Why was he hitting on me if he's into chicks? I was a bit taken aback by this response, but I think Alex's player was more used to it and coolly explained that Alex is bisexual. You never know who you're gonna encounter, so I wanted to keep the roleplay options as open as possible. Ronnie then said, yeah, okay, whatever, but can we keep the real-world politics out of the game? This is supposed to be a light adventure.
Fellas, is it political to exist?
Ugh.
God. I hate
Yes.
I really hate the people who think the mere existence of someone is a political statement. It's so gross and skeevy.
Yeah. Yes, apparently being bisexual is not a personal sexual identity, but rather a political stance. The air was a bit tense, but our fourth player, Joker, came in. I sit down at the bar next to the pretty sorceress lady and the pretty tiefling man, take off my blue math cap, and stow it in my bag as a sign of respect to the tavern keep. If you're confused, he was making a reference to Democratic politician Andrew Yang. I said math loud because it's in caps. After the introductions, we're off to our first quest, delivering word of a dangerous dragon in the area to a nearby midwife. She's being harassed by a manticore, we scare it off. It's a pretty basic level 1 stuff. Ronnie tells us to go talk to the midwife while he patrols on the edge of the forest in case the manticore comes back. I object that we shouldn't split the party, but Ronnie insists. I'm sure you're more than capable of handling an old woman. Actually, the DM chimes in, Adabra Gwen is relatively young, and somewhat attractive if you like that wholesome farmer's daughter thing. At this point, Ronnie suddenly agrees that splitting the party is a bad idea, and he wants to be the one to talk to Adabra, to make sure she doesn't try to cheat us or anything. We're just here to deliver a message, I explained, and it should be Alex to take this lead because of her higher social stats. The others agreed, and Ronnie went back to his loner patrol. Next, we took on the Gnomen Guard quest. The gnome settlement is ruled by a pair of married kings, which really got under Ronnie's skin. I thought we agreed no real-world politics, he said. Look, it's in the module, the DM replied, and gave us their canonical names. Besides, the DM continued, 2 kings married doesn't sound like real-world politics. Sounds more like fantasy politics. It's not like it says one of the kings cheated on his previous king with a porn star.
Oh!
Someone suggested we get back to the quest because some of the loot sounded cool, and we were able to move on. A bit later, Ronnie opined, I think out of character, but looking back I'm not certain. I wonder if there could even be gay tieflings. We all responded with silence, which he took as an opportunity to elaborate. Tieflings are the intentional creation of demons to propagate the demonic bloodline. Well, they wouldn't make gay tieflings, since that would defeat the entire purpose.
That's not how tieflings are made. That is not. Tieflings are made as a result of having made a pact with a fiend. It is a sign
Hold on,
that
it gets worse.
Oh no.
I don't think it works that way, the DM said. There'd probably be lesbian tieflings, though, Ronnie continued. Because historically, lesbian women have still been married off and bore children, so it wouldn't really matter. We probably should have said something to Ronnie about this. Maybe even talked about booting him from the game. But none of us are particularly confrontational, and this was at the very end of the session, so the DM just said, we're at a good point to wrap up and see y'all next week.
Jesus Christ. First off, tieflings... A tiefling is born when... so when someone makes a pact with a demon or devil, at some point later...
the bloodline is cursed.
Yeah, it's just a signifier that someone in your direct lineage, or your direct ancestry, had made a pact with a fiend at some point. It could be your parents, it could be your grandparents, it could be someone who's been dead for hundreds of years.
Like, it could be your great to the 42nd grandparent. Literally any point down your bloodline, someone made a deal with the devil, and now you have horns.
Yeah. Sometimes you're born the tiefling, sometimes it happens at some point during your life.
Sometimes it happens because someone used reincarnate on you, even though you told them you wanted them to use resurrect. You're high enough level. This hasn't happened to me. I'm just making up a little scenario.
Oh, it sounded real personal.
No, you see this. It's called acting.
Oh yeah, I should try that sometime. But yeah, tieflings are not made to spread demon bloodlines. That is literally the propaganda that's literally in-universe propaganda used to persecute tieflings.
Exactly, he's a dummy.
Oh my god, doesn't even understand nuance.
Ugh. I'll admit, I think there's an interesting question here. What differences would we find among purposefully created races, as opposed to those that evolved over millions of years? Those races might be rather different from humans in terms of sex and gender, depending on the purpose they were created for. But it's certainly not a discussion I'd get into with Ronnie. This was really the worst of it, but there was an air of awkwardness for the rest of the campaign. Alex, Joker, and I were all getting along with plenty of jokes between us, and Ronnie uninterested in anything unless he thought there was a chance for slay, play, or lay. At one point, he even tried to flirt with the ghost of a sea elf we were trying to put at ease. A ghost. Flirting with the distraught, accursed ghost. Dude either needs a Pornhub account or needs to delete his Pornhub account, and I'm not sure which.
You know what I would do? I would let him try, and then fucking... You know why... You personally know why...
I know why you don't go smooching ghosts.
Yeah, you don't go ghost. You have a character who went ghost.
Once you go ghost, you don't go back. You become a little vampire girl.
Yeah, or worse. You could just die.
Yeah, you could just die.
You know, I would have it be that I would have it if they really, really wanted to go
I
ghost.
did die.
Well, yeah. I would have it be that if they did successfully seduce the ghost would then go out of their way to try and kill them so they can be together forever in the afterlife. You know, a reasonable consequence for trying to flirt with someone who is dead.
Exactly.
Either that or mummy's rot.
Yeah. And as a sidebar, if you've played Icefire Peak, then you know that you do not flirt with the ghost because she will give you crabs.
Oof.
The campaign eventually came to a conclusion with us defeating the titular Dragon of Icefire Peak. We raided its dragon horde and made our way back down to Phandalin, returning as conquering heroes. Who's in the tavern when we get back? Ronnie asked. I'm not sure why, the DM responded. Well, it's normal for the hero to get the girl at the end of the story, right? I guess that's a common trope, but Phandalin's a small town, only 100 or so people. It's kind of slim pickings. Ronnie and his character both sulked, as the other three of us regaled the nearly empty tavern with tales of our conquest. The DM then hits us with an epilogue he homebrewed. Those are fun.
Yes?
3 days later, as we're recovering from our post-victory hangovers, a half-dozen very ornate carriages come into town. The Lord of Neverwinter has heard of our conquest and sent one of the middling nobles down. Count It Matters Not. Along with him came several knights and lords and ladies from the royal court. This got Ronnie's attention real quick. He got himself out of the shadows and rushed up to Count Who Cares, obviously hoping he could make a good impression and woo a noblewoman. Count, no one remembers the name, asked about the source of the treasure, and Ronnie bragged about killing a fearsome dragon. He asked about the amount of treasure, and Ronnie boasted loudly of his wealth.
Oh, are they
Count,
gonna tax the shit out of him? Are they
Hold
gonna...
on.
I hope they tax him.
Count forget about it. Asked to confirm the treasure was from the dragon's hoard, and Ronnie again just boasted about his heroism. Then Count didn't take notes, informed us that by royal decree signed 10 years ago, Lord Neverremember has claimed 30% of any hoard from a slain dragon, and we would all need to pay our adventuring taxes.
I knew it! Oh man, that's what you get for running your mouth.
Yep. The rest of us thought this was a funny way to end. The campaign was over, so we couldn't use the money anyways. Ronnie was not having it. He tried every angle he could think of to argue why his imaginary money shouldn't be subject to an imaginary tax. Phandolin's a poor town, he said. People should be happy to have us here spending our coin. If I'm taxed, I'll just take the rest, go to another city, and spend it there. But if I stay and spend the money, everyone here will prosper over time.
The lords are from Neverwinter. They don't give a shit.
Roll persuasion? The DM said. But before he could, Alex chimed in. Wait, I don't think that's allowed. Everyone was confused, because it's not like this is covered in the rules. Why not? I can make a persuasion check, Ronnie said. It's against the house rules, Alex answered. The DM didn't have a clue. What house rules? This isn't PvP. He's trying to persuade an NPC. It sounds a lot like Reaganomics and Trickle Down, Alex said, and we agreed there'd be no real-world politics in the game. What? But that's not what Joker cuts off Ronnie mid-rant. Hey, DM, can I use my money to set up a sort of fund that pays everyone in Phandalin a small amount at the start of every month? You mean UBI? Ronnie asked. That's real-world politics, too. If I can't argue my way out of taxes, he should be able to have UBI. Technically, Joker says, UBI only exists in Andrew Yang's imagination, so it's more fantasy politics than anything real.
I love this.
Okay, I'll allow it, DM said. And the taxes? I'll have to think about it. It's getting late and we're past our normal end time. Joker, Alex, and I thanked DM for running a great campaign. Later, I asked DM about what he decided on the taxes. I booted Ronnie from the server, then seized his gold, and used it to fund Neverwinter's first shelter for LGBT tiefling youth.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it whenever the entire group, just tired of one player's bullshit, just comes together to troll the shit out of them.
Exactly.
Oh, man. So, that guy's an asshole.
Obviously.
That guy's the asshole who thinks that people who are different from him merely existing is political. Alright? And he's very much a rule for thee, not for me kind of guy. Considering the whole arguing taxes.
Well, don't forget, he's an idiot.
He is also an idiot.
He probably doesn't even know that taxes are a political thing. He probably just thinks, oh, taxes are a thing that happen and rich people don't get them, so why am I getting it?
Yeah. Oh, God. He's a dumbass, plain and simple.
Little does he know that taxes are simply just the ruling class saying, I own the land you're on, give me your money or die.
Yeah. My advice as a DM, if you ever have a player who thinks that people existing, if you have a player who thinks that minorities existing is a political statement, boot them from the game. Alright? You don't try to reason with them, you can't. You can't logic someone out of a position they didn't logic themselves into. And so the best thing
like that line.
I do. It's a good line.
I think that's the 4th time I've heard you use it in the past week.
Well, to be fair, it's only the 2nd time, because
you used it in Phoenix. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe as a joke. I don't remember. But the other time I did it was when I was talking to a DM who wanted to make Healing Word a bonus or a full action instead of a bonus action.
Yes, because he doesn't like that the players are using it, but he doesn't want to be too railroady.
Yeah. Well,
he just wants to be like, no.
They don't want to be. They don't want to be seen as that DM who bans spells they don't like, but also they don't want them to use that spell. So they're just making it effectively useless.
They're making it inconvenient.
Yeah, too inconvenient to use. And they are very much railroady because they
also, fucking the convenience is given with a trade-off. It doesn't heal as much as Cure Wounds.
That's what I said. It heals less, but it's a faster heal, which is why it's useful. Which is why it's a decent enough trade-off, especially when people are down and making death saving throws. Like, that is the point.
Exactly.
Yeah. But these aren't stories about that DM. That is a DM
True.
that I've had beef with for quite some time, and they don't like that I let players have choices.
Yeah.
Speaking of a DM that brags about railroading, I have a story about one involving Curse of Strahd. Well, technically, Ravenloft.
Yeah.
So, this one is...
Ah, shit. I was in a Discord call with my girlfriend last night, and I forgot to show her this.
What? Oh,
the Talk Sprite. I forgot to show it to her.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
So, this one is called a 90s text-only D&D session in Ravenloft that had the worst DM I ever knew. Submitted by my username 2459. It was the fall of 96, and I was moving out of my college dorm for my freshman year. I was moving into my college dorm for freshman year. The guy on my dorm floor turned out to be into D&D. He quickly started telling me war stories about D&D games he ran and played in. He told me about a D&D game he had run over the summer, online in a text-only platform. It was the 90s, and dial-up was the technology of the time after all. He was running a game set in Ravenloft with a low-level party, and he showed me the saved opening narration he opened the game with, which was a gigantic wall of text about their travel across Barovia to reach Castle Ravenloft, searching for whatever MacGuffin they were after, and how they now stood at the gates of Ravenloft. So the party goes inside and has a typical encounter with undead, necromancers, some minor golems, stuff you might expect in Ravenloft.
Okay, well, hold on.
Yeah?
Alright, so... I would love to play a D&D game through BBS.
BBS?
That shit would be... BBS is like the old internet.
Oh.
Back before websites, when you
like
went into your
AOL
fucking,
Messenger.
Oh, earlier than that.
Jesus Christ! What do you mean?
This is back in the day when there was not a website. There was an online billboard or an online blackboard that you go on, and all of the art on there is ASCII or just blocks, colored, if even.
Yeah, this is from the year you were born.
Some of the people are, I know, but there was still plenty of BBS's open in in the night. I mean, shit, some of them are still open now. Some of them are still open and have been open since the early days.
I wouldn't know. By the
posting MUDs and and shareware, computer demos. Ugh.
I wouldn't know. By the time we got internet, websites had already be. It was in the It was at the start of the. Bubble.
I didn't know a damn thing about BBSs until like 7 years ago, maybe more.
It got like
I was like,
scratch
oh boy,
above my
I like old computers. What's a thing you could do with old computers?
Did you ever
I look on the internet and it's like, oh, here's an online thing that lets you virtually connect to a BBS through a virtual machine. DOSBox.
Oh god, DOS?
Yeah, this was back. Well, some of them were a good chunk of the ones that are still up nowadays. Run on DOS. The earlier ones.
Is BBS basically that shit that Neo was using in the Matrix? You know, the green. Okay. I think I can visualize it a lot better now.
Yeah.
So it's basically
there are still ones that you can still get onto using an actual Commodore 64.
Oh man, did you ever have to take out the tracker ball of the mouse to clean with a Q-tip?
Yes.
I did that once, and I may have broke the mouse, and my mom didn't let me do it ever again, or didn't make me do it
Okay,
ever again.
well, here's the thing. I didn't like actually like physically clean the ball. It was just one of those situations where it starts getting a little fucky, so you open up and you're like, oh, there's a ring of gook around it, and you like remove the ring
Oh yeah,
and then put it in the garbage.
like cleaning the earwax off your AirPods.
Gross.
It'd be gross not to.
I mean, yeah, but still.
All right. So,
Yes, continue.
yes, he was running a game set in Ravenloft with a low party. Oh yeah, I already read that. So the party goes inside and has typical. I already read that. Where was it? Ah, here we go.
You got to the end of the introduction, I think.
Yeah. So, at one point, the party winds up in some fancy dining room, with the doors barricaded, and they're trapped in there with Strahd slowly walking towards them. The only place they can flee onto is the balcony. The DM mentions that it's a balcony over a rushing river below. Strahd bursts open the door onto the balcony, cornering the party on the balcony. The party is clearly scared and desperate. One person asks to confirm that there's a large rushing river below the balcony, and the DM agrees. So a player jumps off the balcony into the river to flee Strahd. At that idea, the rest of the party say they'll jump too. The DM responds by saying that they're all dead. Total party kill. He points out that in the huge pages-long opening narration of text, a painstakingly described Castle Ravenloft from the outside, and the balcony thereon is well over 100 feet in the air, and that the river is at the bottom of a chasm just to the side of the castle. So it's a 200-foot drop. Maximum fall damage if you jump off the balcony, 20 d6 to everyone, which would kill a low-level party outright. Why was he the worst DM I ever knew? He was bragging about this. He was beaming a proud smile as he told me all this, which he considered his finest hour as a DM by getting a party to kill themselves in a TPK. I asked him what the party was supposed to do if backed in a corner by Strahd over a balcony, and he said he wouldn't tell, and I'd have to play in one of his games if I thought I could do better. He then took plenty of time to whine about how immature everyone else in the group was because they refused to play with him ever again after that incident, and rambled on about how hard it is to find a good gaming group these days. I wanted to get involved with D&D when I went off to college and was away from my parents who had bought into the whole satanic panic scare about D&D being a satanic cult. But it would be a few more years before I actually met people I'd actually game with, because there was no way I was going to sit down at this guy's table, especially when he held that out as an example of his best DMing, when I found out the campus had a gaming club in my sophomore year, I found out that guy was notorious and had been ostracized from the broader gaming community on campus for a long list of incidents, not to mention odious hygiene, a lack of respect for personal boundaries and privacy. So, this DM, piece of shit. A bad DM.
Yeah, piece of shit. Okay, so you want to know something?
What?
That's one of the stories I considered but ended up not choosing last week.
Oh, nice. So yeah. D&D is a collaborative storytelling effort. It is not DM versus players. As a DM, it's so easy to kill your players. You could just have rocks fall, everyone dies. That's literally an instant kill method in the Tomb of Horrors. Yeah, in Raw Tomb of Horrors, that's rocks fall, everyone dies is a trap. Like, it is so easy to kill off your players. What's hard is keeping your players alive in a narratively satisfying way. Like, if you give them easy fights all the time, that's gonna be boring. If you give them challenges that they overcome, that is going to be fun. Because it's not about winning. There is no winning in D&D. It's about telling a story.
Yeah.
And whether the players end up dying gruesomely or they successfully beat the BBEG, the main job of the DM is to make it narratively satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shit, if everyone dies,
The game's over.
Nothing is stopping the DM from going, all right, you're all in heaven, and your respective gods are like, no, fucking get back out there. You got shit to do.
Yeah, and that would be an unsatisfying
It would be unsatisfying in the moment, but later on, you know, that could be like that could be used for character building.
Forrest Puffin actually played a game of Curse of Strahd where they had that sort of thing where when a player died, they were contacted by one of the Dark Powers and offered a chance to... The Dark Power would resurrect them, but at the cost of... and they would be indebted to the Dark Power.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a narratively satisfying way to do it because it allows the Dark Powers to be a little more involved rather than just being at the Amber Temple, and also it keeps them in the party.
And it gives the player agency.
Yeah, because they could refuse and die. It gives them the choice on whether or not they want to live or die. So yeah, that is how a good DM handles a TPK like that in Ravenloft.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have not had to deal with a TPK yet. We got close. It's been a couple times where it's been a little close.
I've never had a player character of my own die and stay dead for more than like a round.
Yeah. I do my best to try and not TPK, but I'm also not going to hold...
You try not to make it happen, but you won't prevent it.
Exactly. If the dice say it happens, then it's out of my hands. I'm not going to lie about dice in order to prevent it. Yeah. But my main priority is making sure everyone's having fun. And I know that there are some times where you're not having fun because the dice say no.
Yeah.
But that's not my fault.
Either the dice say no or another player puts up a 20-foot radius ball of magical darkness that only they and one other player can see in.
Yeah.
And it has all of the enemies in it, and I am a class that needs to be close quarters combat, CQC.
Yeah. Or at the opening start, an enemy fires a firebolt at an unconscious party member, which is me being nice because the ranged attacks have disadvantage on prone characters, and then it ends up being a nat 20 with disadvantage, which adds two failed death saves on the player, and it's like,
yeah.
I did not want that to happen. Looking like it's something that we can laugh about now, but goddamn, that was really close, and I felt like such a dick. That was the one time I was considering fudging numbers, but if I did that, then that would make rolls meaningless.
Yeah.
And I'm not about that.
No, whenever some shit like that happens, you go in the server and you're like, look at this.
Yeah,
look at these dice.
I apologize.
Look at what the dice have wrought.
I apologize, and then I post a screenshot of the roll.
You posted in the server, behold the word of God.
Behold,
Jesus
yes.
speaks upon thee.
You, my son, get to have all the figgy pudding. God. So yeah.
Headfoot.
So what lessons do we learn from these stories this episode?
If one of the players in your game even considers mentioning politics, not
in-game
doing a politics, not doing a politics, but complaining about politics, give them a stern talking to, and if they still don't change, kick them out.
Yeah. Oh god.
If it's not something incredibly heinous like calling someone a racial slur, then like give them a second chance.
Yeah. And for the other story, don't railroad your characters into a TPK, because that's a dick move and not fun for anyone. Because like all that does is just waste a night.
Yeah.
Yeah. God. On the topic of political stories, reminds me of that one story about the person who was like a QAnon kind of guy and tried to force his campaign to be effectively the January 6th. And,
oh god, I remember that story.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he basically makes...
Where like after 2 or 3 hours of just torturing his players with that, one of the players, who I believe is black, just like, man, this fucking sucks, and then he just goes off with slurs.
Yeah, that's not a good... Basically, don't be an asshole.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
Yeah, don't be an asshole. That's what this sums up to. That's what pretty much all the horror stories...
Your character you can play an asshole, but don't be an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun to play a character who's an asshole, but don't actually be a terrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your character might be one, but don't make sure that you aren't.
Yeah. All right. So,
most of my characters are terrible people, but that's just because they're willing to kill someone.
I like to play incompetent characters who think that they're a lot better than they actually are.
I play incompetent characters that know they're incompetent and are working on it.
I don't know why y'all still listen to Margaret and let her lead the party. She is 12.
She's got spunk.
That's fair. She says it with such confidence.
She's got moxie.
Yeah. She's got chutzpah.
Chutzpah. You
Yeah.
gotta have that
Chutzpah.
You gotta have that coddle sound.
Yeah. So, that concludes this D&D horror story.
The glottal is one of my favorite phonemes.
Definitely check out some of the other stuff. We mentioned a couple. We mentioned or referenced several campaigns that are currently ongoing on this channel, such as we are playing Curse of Strahd, and the almost TPK that happened that I had was on
to
World
be fair,
of
it
Fear.
wasn't almost a TPK. I had plenty of health.
I know, but it would have been a TPK if Varen didn't successfully fight the demon out. Like,
I'll be honest. If everyone else died, Levere was 100% ready to fucking bolt out.
That's fair. And then you'd have, and then at that point, all the cultists were still alive upstairs.
They were a little busy.
Yeah.
They were a little busy. I think they were. I think most of them would have been too preoccupied dealing with totally ordinary sheep, and I think.
Oh god.
Shoot! Wasn't there like a?
It was like a Xyla or something. Zona. Zorn.
There was a big
Zorn.
Yeah, there was a Zorn.
I knew it started with an X.
I think there might have been one of those bug things that petrify if you look them at them.
The Umber Hulk.
Yeah, I think there might have been an Umber Hulk or two.
Yeah, Umber Hulks
That's a little
that had the zombie mushrooms.
Yeah, infected Umber Hulks. I don't think they've paid much attention to the scared running kobold. I think it would have honestly mixed in a little with all the other scared running people.
That's fair. But yeah,
Besides, he still had his cloak.
that's true. So yeah, definitely check out World Disappear. It is a fun campaign. They recently had a heist, and got some information on a little more information on the inner workings of the cult we just referenced. And there's so Ace Attorney, which we are playing.
Yes. We just beat we just beat
the third
episode 3.
Yep.
Next episode we're going on to episode 4. Turnabout something or
what
something.
What does turnabout even mean?
Turnabout means a sudden and complete change or reversal of policy, opinion, or of a situation.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. I've just never heard anyone actually say it in all the... never heard anyone say it in, like, Judge Judy or any of the highly publicized...
Episode 4 is Turnabout Goodbyes.
Wouldn't that just be a hello?
No, there would be goodbyes that bring about a sudden change.
Okay. Anywho.
Like, goodbye. And then they just leave.
Goodbye.
That's a change. That's a change.
Goodbye. And then they start walking in the same direction as you.
And it's awkward for the next, 2 minutes.
Yeah, until you reach the end of the block and finally go your separate ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all that kind of stuff and more that you can check out on our channel. Comment challenge of the day. Do you have any bad experiences with people trying to bring their political views into D&D? Like, trying to bring it in by accusing others of doing so. You know what I mean.
Yeah, have you ever played a D&D game and then someone was like, "Hey, don't bring politics into this," and all the other person did was
exist.
Say they have a husband at home and they're a guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, don't bring your politics into this." And you're like, "All I said was that I wanted to fucking kiss my husband."
Yeah. All I said was that this kingdom has dedicated clerics to heal people.
All I said was that it's not okay to discriminate the drow.
Yeah. All I said is that goblins aren't thieves.
But as everybody knows, it's morally alright to call elves knife ears. Anyway, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.